Hi there, Marcia here, and I'm going to show you how I use cardboard boxes in my projects. First I'm going to show you how to make nice pieces of craft paper out of cardboard boxes. What you need is a cardboard box that looks like this, and you can cut it into pieces as big and as small as you want. I needed to make a little bit smaller pieces for the video, and you soak it in water for a couple of minutes. It doesn't take long. After a couple of minutes you can just pull it apart and one side is usually more stuck than the other, but okay, this needed just a little bit longer, but you get the idea. Okay, then you have two layers of paper that you can leave to dry. And then this middle part is excellent paper mache material, and you can tear it into little pieces. And I have a bucket here. Just tear it into little pieces like this, and then you take a household item like this. These are cake decorating molds, push molds from Wilton. Actually, I don't know the brand of this one, but I usually use these with clay or embossing enamel, but you can also use them with paper mache. And what you do is you just push it in here in the mold. You don't need to be too careful about the edges. They don't need to be really neat, because you can cut the excess off with scissors. It's paper. So you push it in and make sure all the, well, most of the water comes out and that there are no air bubbles left. And then you take a piece of paper towel or cloth and you push as much of the water out as you can. And then you wait for it to dry. And after a while you will get these wonderful pieces of cardboard that you can use as an embellishment on your projects. You can even paint them. I have one that I painted. I would suggest not making the paint too wet. Dry brush it on, because I'm not sure if they will hold up to a lot of moisture. I don't think so. I think they will fall apart again. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. So the craft paper, I like it very much. It's one side is kind of rough and the other side is just like craft paper, but it's kind of more sturdy and it takes water really well. You can decorate it. I have some prepared already. This one is just gessoed. Here are a couple of ones that I just painted. For these two, I used more cake decorating stuff. I found these at the IKEA and they make really good stencils. Actually, I think it's a set of 4. I really like this one. It makes great stripes. And then let me see. Okay, for this one I use something that I think is called drywall tape. It looks like this, kind of like magic mesh, if you remember that. And I just adhered it on a piece of paper, and then I took out a cosmetic sponge, one like this, and some paint, and I just dabbed it on and off. And for the middle part, okay, I started with orange, and then for the middle part I covered it with a beer coaster, and then put some more paint on the outer sides. This is another one. You can try and make some ombre effect, kind of like that one. For this one I used homemade stamps. I carved these myself from an ordinary eraser, a big eraser, just a cheap one. It works perfectly. And then this one is my favorite. Here I used a tablecloth to stencil through. These are just cheap tablecloths. I don't use them on my tables because I don't think they are very practical, but they are ideal to stencil with. And I actually have a couple of ones. These are placemats with different patterns. This one just looks exactly like a crocheted piece. So that's how I just stenciled it again with the cosmetic sponge, dab on, dab off. Okay, so I said these were my favorite ones, but actually maybe it's these. So for these, and I'm going to show you how I did these. So I went around my craft room to look for household items that I use in my craft projects, and I found these. And these are wallpaper samples, and they are the ones with the foamy texture on them. So I go to a DIY store and go to the wallpaper samples, and then I just look for interesting patterns that are kind of raised from the wallpaper. And these are really cool to use as stamps. So what you do is you just take a wallpaper sample and get out some paint. What color? Maybe just orange again. These are paints that I found at a kids section in a department store. They are not high quality paints, and they smell awful. But I kind of like the neon colors, so I decided to buy them anyway. I use a brayer for this because I want the paint to go on really thin. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Just put on some paint. Make it kind of even. And then take one of your papers and just stamp it on. Another brayer would come in handy now, but that one is covered in paint, so this will have to do, and it will work out fine. Look at that. I will do another piece at the edge. So that's another thing to try for you. And then let me clean this up first. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is this. I have worked a lot with cardboard things, and the one thing I really like is that the corrugated part in the middle. And when you cut it into strips, just long small strips, you get this, and you can glue these together. And I just use a regular glue stick for this, and it works perfectly. And you can glue strips like this together, and then you get something like this. And I thought this would be really cool as an album cover, or maybe you can cut this into shapes and use it on mixed media projects. You can even put semi-transparent paper or plastic behind it and create really cool effects. And I also, when you bend the strips a little bit, you can roll them up like this, and also use the glue stick to stick this together. It dries transparent, so you won't notice once it's dry. And then you can paint these like this, or you can even make other shapes like this. And then I thought it would be nice as a mini album cover. I'm kind of thinking I will turn this into a mini album like this. And then you take the paper mache pieces and glue them on, and you have a mini album cover. And I thought, well, maybe I will put this behind. I'm not really sure yet, but okay. So that concludes my video for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you saw something new. And please come visit me on my blog. Bye!